Good morning and welcome to another 1 hour build. This is going to be number 7 and we're building rock, paper, scissors again. Right, we start with our tests. This time I'm gonna try to simplify things quite a lot, and I'm gonna start by having a single test module. That's gonna be our PS test, and we're gonna have a canary test here, and that is going to be assert false so we can see the fail. Okay, this is gonna run. Why does it take us so long? Something was wrong with this. Right, let's just close live book. Okay, this is actually running, and use x unit dot case async false. Okay, right, false, cool. Change it to true. That will work. 1 second. Right. So let's start writing our actual tests, and we're gonna start with the game module. And I'm gonna test the play module. No, it's not gonna be play. It's gonna be compare inputs. And that's when it opens. And we'll just assert game dot compare inputs. I'm gonna give it an array, and I'm gonna say rock, comma, scissors is equal to rock. Okay, and that's gonna fail because there's there we go. Okay, module's undefined. Perfect. So let's define the game module. I'm gonna give it a compare inputs function, and we are going before we do that, let me point that out. And there's a trick that I want to check here. I want to actually make sure that works in the other direction, which it will, because it's actually, we'll do that in a bit. Okay, so that will fail. So now we start having actual inputs. So I'm gonna do scissors, and we're gonna do okay. So those both pass, but now if we get our inputs in a different order, so in our shuffle, that's gonna fail. Cool. So what we want to do is we're gonna create a new function here. Compare inputs, and we're gonna say inputs, and what we're going to do here is we're going to take the inputs and just order them, sort them, and then we're going to call compare. We're going to call it compare, so this is going to become an internal function called compare, a private function. Keyboard trick, I'd say. Right. So how are we now? Paper, comma, rock. Yep. Just need to change those around so they're in alphabetical order. Yep. Okay. So test, and in fact we can have this as part of our standard way of writing these. Compare inputs, scissors, wins, inputs, paper, comma, scissors, shuffle that. Scissors. Okay, right, so just need another one of these. And that passes. Now, another test to make sure we can draw. And what we're going to have is choice is equal to rock, paper, scissors, and we'll pass that through enum.random to take any one of them, and then assert compare inputs, choice is equal to draw. So whenever we have the same thing, it should draw. You can see that it's using different values, so that this is failing. And all we can do is put another clause here, which will be anything else. We'll set the draw. Yeah, so that always passes now. Cool, so that's our very simple set of tests for compare inputs. Now let's start creating the bare minimum functionality for a bot that can play this game. I'm writing these in the same module to save some time on boilerplate and things like that. So test choice. Okay. I'm gonna do choices is equal to rock, paper, scissors, and we're gonna do assert pot.play. enum.member. enum.member valid choices, play. Okay, and obviously the function is not defined, so let's go ahead and define it. And actually the easiest way to implement this will be to just return rock, right? And that will pass the test every time, which isn't great, really. So what we can do is we can manipulate the random number generator seed to actually get the values we want in the order we want them. So what we can do is we can do dot seed, and this just needs an algorithm which is going to be default, and make the seed 1, and then we can do assert bot.play is equal to rock, for example. And I got it right. Okay, so if I make this paper, it'll fail, and it'll fail every time because we've set the random seed. So make it rock, and then we run it again and make that paper, for example. We got rock again, but we can change the seed, for example, and make that 2, 3, 4, 5. Come on, something's got to make it. Why is it not changing? That should be changing. Does it need to be a 3 tuple? I think it does. Why is that not working? How? Okay, yeah, I can see why it's not working because I haven't actually implemented any logic to make it work. So yeah, we can do that. And what we can do here is make it actually return some random value. So we can do rock, paper, scissors, pipe that into enum.random. Okay, so we're getting scissors every time. So if we make that on line 42, we make that a scissors. And then on the next line we get rock every time. So make that rock, and There we go, so the value changes each time, and we've got a test to prove that. Cool. So that means now we can describe an integration. And what we can do is test compare bot inputs. So what we can do is assert game.compare inputs bot.play bot.play, and again we're going to need to use random number generator, but for now we can check and say it's equal to a draw, for example. This needs to be an array, sorry. A list in Elixir speak. Okay, cool. So if we manipulate the random number generator, so rand.seed default, 1 rock every time, cool. So rock scissors, no, it's another rock. Come on. It's a draw. Okay, so we can tweak some of these rock paper, and let's just change the seed there. I mean, we know it can return our results anyway, but just to be on the safe side. There we go, that gives us scissors. Let's manipulate that one more time. Let's get to a random result. There we go. That gives us that. Okay, so now we know that these two can work together. And the rest of it is just kind of wiring them up in a way that supports games actually being played. So what we want to do is we want a game to start to request inputs from the players that it started with. The players need to listen to those inputs, to those requests, reply with their inputs, and then the game needs to keep track of their choices and when everybody's played, judge them and decide which player actually won. So there's a lot to unpack there, but the first thing we care about is that the game should request inputs. And I really want to be able to do this. I'm going to do that. Because then I can collapse that and have a different block. just for now. And we're going to do test request inputs. In fact, I'm going to call that gen server. So these are gen server functionality for the game. We are going to have a. Do we need a gen server yet? Technically we don't. So let's see. But how do we know which players to request inputs from and how to request them? We do need the gen server. So game gen server, and we're gonna look at the init functionality first, I think. And what we want to do is make sure that it has a list of players and a pub sub to talk to, and it saves that in its test. So init sets state. So what we can do is we can do state is equal to game.init. And we need to give it some variables here. So name is OG1, players is a list with player 1, comma, player 2, and it's going to need to know the pub sub we're using. And just call it sub. Okay, and we assert that state.name is equal to g1, and just run that for now. So this always needs to return okay. So in fact, there needs to be on our tests, because this needs to be a valid gen server callback, and we're going to return a state, which is going to be a map, and we're going to have a name. We're going to have this. In fact, just that's enough to pass the test, right? Cool. Okay, so I know we're setting players, but I think from past experience it actually makes more sense to save this variable as pending players in the state. Let's copy that. Okay, so that's not found, so we put it in here. And these are all the players whom we're waiting to make choices. We want to make sure that the pub sub is set. These need to be variables, really. But let's just test it for now. That will fail. is enough for what we're doing at the moment. What else doesn't it need to do? We need to test that in it. No, it doesn't need to be in it here. We need to handle info. Solicit inputs. Okay, so we're going to have a new function that is just called solicit inputs, and what we needed to do is we needed to send pub sub messages to the players. So in order to check that, we need first of all to install Phoenix pub sub. Okay, run that, and then we need to do start supervised. We use the bank so that we actually get an error and we see what happens if something goes wrong. And we're going to start Phoenix.pub sub, and we're going to give it a name, which is going to be pub sub. Okay, that works. And then what we're going to do is Phoenix.pubsub.subscribe, the same name, which we need to extract as a variable. And we are going to subscribe to the topic, which is player P1. And that should still work. And then we're going to assert that we're going to run handle info, because this is just a function. We can run it without the game actually being live, as it were. We just need to pass the correct variables, which will be in this case solicit inputs. Maybe that just needs to be start. Start maybe nicer. And it's going to need to have a state here. I think for the purposes of this, what does it care about? It actually cares about everything. So it needs basically all of this. This. Now that's going to fail because handle info is undefined. So we go here and we do handle info, and this will implement. I wonder if we can do this before we use gen server. But anyway, we can use gen server handle info, and that's going to be start and state. needs to have return no reply state. Yeah, it's because we didn't define the behavior, so we use gen server, and this would need to be at import gen server. Cool. Okay, so that's all passing. So we've got a function there, and what we need to do is we need to assert receive. And what do we expect to receive? We expect to receive a tuple that says play and the game name G1. And I think that's all. I don't think we need anything else in that message, but obviously not because we don't send it. So over here in our handle info, we need to do phoenix.pubsub.broadcast. Pubsub is going to be state.pubsub. Topic is going to be player colon. And actually, this needs to run in a loop, right? Because we need to do it for all players. It's for p in state.players. We need to do that. And the message needs to be play, and the game is state.name. How's that looking? Perfect. We need to also subscribe to the second player just to make sure that the second player gets it. And we need to check that we received that twice. Yep, that's fine. Okay, so we're starting to see a little bit of repetition here. So what would be nice is to have a context here that says, for example, at tag players and then we can get rid of that. We can do no, that I think we can pattern match the map here. Still passing, and so we can do the same thing here. No, there. Yeah, there. No, because I didn't copy the whole thing. Cool. And we can get rid of that. Oh, it's because we need to put the tag in here now. Can we add pubsub there? Okay. Yeah, we can. Cool. Awesome. Which means we can do that there as well. The only thing is I don't actually want to do it like this. I want to just have that as context. Players. And make that. Yeah, that still passes. And then we can give it a name. Cool. Okay, so that all works. I really shouldn't be spending so much time refactoring that. We're nearly there. Refactoring tests of all things. Need to pin that, unpin that. What's going on? There we go. Okay, right. Moving swiftly on because this has eaten up a few minutes that we don't really want to waste. So we have a handle info. When we get start message, we subscribe, we message the players, or we send a message on the player channel to solicit an input. We need to make sure that actually gets called. That message gets sent during init. So let's grab those tags and let's put it above here actually because it is part of the init tests. And say test init. How do we test this? Because it'll be sending a message to itself to trigger that function. We could make that message go on a Phoenix pub sub. Yeah. needs to subscribe to its own channel. That should be fine, yeah. So init subscribes to game colon game topic. Okay, so we need, what do we need? We definitely need the context in here. We need to check that is PubSub actually started? Or do we start? Yeah, we started manually here. So what we need to do, we need to yank that up into a setup block. Setup. And we can grab that. And I think we just need to return OK here. Actually, probably need to return OK, context to make it available to everything else. Right, and then we can check here. We can do registry dot. Let's start with an assertion. Registry dot lookup. The registry is going to be context dot pubsub, and our key is going to be our topic, which is game hash. I'm going to interpolate context dot game name. And what we want to do is assert that that is an empty list, right? T249, where is that? What have I done here? I feel like the error is here, even though that's where it warns me about it, yeah. What's going on? Oh, didn't finish interpolating. Cool. Okay, right, so is equal to an empty list. Yeah. Okay, so what we want to do is we run our init, which is going to be that. And then we can run the assertion again. And we will have a one element list, right? Okay, we can't pattern match that, but what we can say is pass that into length, and that should be 1. And it fails because length is 0. Cool. So now we can go up to our game init function, and we can say phoenix.pubsub.subscribe. And there'll be pubsub, and the topic will be game colon hash game name. Cool. And that tests, that passes. So we've got that. Same tag. We're gonna test init broadcasts a message to itself. Start message to itself. Cool. So we know that subscribes to the topic. So what we can do is in init, but before init actually, we can also subscribe to the same topic. So phoenix.pubsub.subscribe context.pubsub, and the topic's going to be game, and context.game name. So we subscribe to the same topic. We run the init, which is going to be that, and then we assert receive, and it just needs to be play, right? Okay, all right, so then in here we do phoenix.pubsub.broadcast, and this will be pubsub. The topic will be game. Name. And the message is going to be play. No, start is what we decided it was going to be. Where did we check that? Yeah. There we go, cool. So it sends its own message, which will get picked up by its handle info start, and that will do the broadcast, and so on and so forth. So what we need now is we need the bot to also have a gen server. So we can describe called gen server, and we can test init set state, and we can do the same. So we can do state. That needs to be okay, comma state is equal to bot.init, and the bot needs a name. And just call it B1 for now. And obviously that's going to fail. So we go to our bot module, we use gen server, we add impo gen server def init name to return okay, and name is name, and that should do the trick for us. So what we want to do here is assert state.name is equal to name, that is equal to b1, which should be, that's fine, simple enough here. So we want to test, we want to handle info, we need to handle the messages that come from the game or from anybody else but on our channel. So first of all, we want to make sure that init subscribes to player colon player name topic. Okay. I've got a feeling that this setup needs to move up. Yeah, because that's just setting up the pub sub. I think it's a feeling that's going to break some tests. Oh, okay, yeah, because it's only, so what we can do is add tag pub sub. Seven failures, yeah. So what we can do here is wonder if that works. No, it doesn't. It doesn't matter, right? What we can do is, let's have two clauses here. We can have one that matches on do that. Just in the interest of time. Oh. And that needs to equal context so that we can return it. And then we'll have another one that is just a context that we return, and the name will default to pub sub. It's a bit messy, but come on, really, that should. Is it a list instead? Keyword list, is it? Do you know what? Just get rid of that. I don't care. Just default it to the pub sub name. Very short on time now. So, assert registry dot lookup. Registry is context pub sub, and the key is going to be player colon b1 is equal to an empty list. Right, that passes. Cool. So what we want to do is do the bot init again, and then we want to assert that when we pass that into length is 1. Okay. So then here in it we do Phoenix. Okay, so that needs a pub sub as well. Subscribe. So topic is player name, and here we want to make sure we pass it's found. Okay, cool. So actually that needs the context as well. Because I need the context. Okay. All right, right. So then the last thing we need, and this is going to be super quick, test handle info play replies with a input. So we need to do phoenix.pubsub.subscribe, and we're going to subscribe to the topic, the context pubsub. We're going to subscribe to the topic of the game because that's where we're expecting the message to come back. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do bot.handle info, and that's going to be the play message with the game is G1 lowercase. Okay, and we're gonna assert receive and that should be a player is B1. Oh, we need to give it a state. So name is B1. Pub sub is context.pubsub. Player B1. Choice is, well, we don't really care what it is, but it should be something. Okay, so it fails because the mailbox is empty. So we need to over here do import genserver def handle info, and that's going to be a play game name state, and that's going to do return no reply state, and it's going to do phoenix.pubsub.broadcast on state.pubsub, and the topic is going to be game name, and the message is going to be play name is going to be state.name, and the choice is going to be play. So that will be our random choice function. How's that looking? Okay, so the wrong word to run. Oh. Did I call it name? Call it name. It should be player. Yes. Cool. So we can describe an integration here. Test. Just call it M2 and do. So we should be able to game pid. I think we need the pids. Start supervised, and we want no, we need to start the bots first. So bot, comma, name is p1, pub sub. Let's have the context here. And tag pub sub. So pub sub is going to be context.pub sub. So that's the first bot. We need this to be a blank so that it gives us an error if it doesn't start. It doesn't have start link. Okay. Def start link args to server dot start link module args. We need it to have a unique name. Don't try this at home, kids. String dot to atom, and we're gonna do args at name. Okay, right, so we've got bot 1, bot 2, and then we're going to start supervised a game. In fact, make sure that passes. Really? Why? I understand it would be a problem if it was B1. We're over time now. Just give us a random name. Why is it already started? Okay, well, I failed at the last hurdle there. But it should work. Why does it not work? I don't know. We're out of time. I suppose I'll fix it next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.